A couple of reckless bikers walked into Cedar Lake Marina looking for trouble. Instead, they found Commander Alexandra "Alex" Blackwood, a woman who spent 20 years running classified naval intelligence operations. What happened next would expose a billion-dollar weapons trafficking ring, dismantle 3 international crime syndicates, and teach the Reckless Wheelers motorcycle gang a brutal lesson about judging a book by its cover. They thought they were intimidating a lone woman on a quiet fishing dock. Instead, they picked a fight with one of the most decorated naval intelligence officers in American history. Their biggest mistake wasn't confronting the wrong person. It was giving her a reason to look into their operation. Within 3 months, their entire criminal empire would collapse. Dozens of corrupt officials would be exposed, and international law enforcement would uncover the largest weapons trafficking operation on the East Coast. Sometimes the most dangerous person on a fishing dock isn't the one making threats. It's the quiet woman patiently waiting for her morning catch. This is the story of how the Reckless Wheelers threatened the wrong female Navy commander, and how their fatal mistake brought down an empire that had eluded federal authorities for over a decade. Quick pause before we continue. Tell us, where in the world are you watching from? If you're enjoying these stories, make sure to hit subscribe because tomorrow's episode is absolutely mind-blowing. The morning fog rolled thick across Cedar Lake, transforming the weathered fishing dock into a ghostly peninsula jutting into still waters. Commander Alexandra "Alex" Blackwood watched her line cut silently through the silver mist, her practiced hands making minor adjustments to prevent the bait from sinking too deep. 20 years of running classified operations had taught her the value of patience, of waiting for exactly the right moment to strike. Joe Crawford approached with his signature heavy thermos, his boots creaking against the old wooden planks. He'd managed Cedar Lake Marina longer than most of the town's residents had been alive, and his weathered face carried the kind of wisdom that only comes from decades of watching people reveal their true nature on these quiet waters. "You're here early again, Commander," he said, pouring steaming coffee into a ceramic mug that had seen better days. "Fish aren't even awake yet." Alex accepted the coffee with a slight smile, her eyes never leaving the spot where her line disappeared beneath the surface. "Best time to think, Joe. No distractions." What she didn't tell him was why she always chose this particular spot, the one with clear sight lines to both dock exits, the parking lot, and the main road. She didn't mention the compact Glock 19 secured in her tackle box, or the satellite phone tucked beneath her spare lures. Old habits died hard, especially for someone who'd spent their career planning for every contingency. The peaceful morning shattered as 3 motorcycles roared into the marina parking lot, their engines deliberately loud enough to scatter the few birds that had been circling hopefully near the cleaning station. Alex watched through half-lidded eyes as the other early morning fishermen tensed, suddenly finding their tackle boxes fascinating. Joe's grip tightened on his thermos. "Reckless Wheelers," he muttered, his usual warm tone hardening. "Been showing up more and more lately, asking questions about shipping schedules, making suggestions about dock fees." Alex's attention sharpened, though she maintained her relaxed posture. The Reckless Wheelers had appeared 6 months ago, establishing themselves as the newest motorcycle club in the area. But something about their operation had never felt right to her. Too organized, too focused on the marina and its operations. 3 men dismounted their bikes, leather cuts displaying the gang's distinctive wheel and flame insignia. Their leader, a scarred man Alex recognized from marina gossip as Drake the Snake Stevens, moved with the kind of tactical awareness she recognized from her military days. His eyes swept the dock in a practiced pattern: threat assessment, identifying exits, cataloging witnesses. Well, Drake called out, his voice carrying across the still water. "Isn't this cozy? Private little fishing club we got here?" Joe stepped forward, positioning himself between the bikers and his dock. "Marina's open to everyone, long as they follow the rules and pay their fees." Drake's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Rules are changing, old man. Town's changing. Smart business owners are getting on board early, if you know what I mean." Alex watched the interaction through her peripheral vision, noting how Drake's 2 associates had spread out in a classic flanking position. Their leather cuts couldn't quite hide the bulges of concealed weapons, amateur mistakes that told her these weren't just ordinary gang members. "Marina's been running fine under the current rules," Joe replied, his voice steady despite the tension. "Don't see any reason for change." Drake took a step forward, his boot hitting the dock with deliberate force. "Maybe you need help seeing things more clearly. Accidents happen on the water all the time. Be a shame if..." "If what?" Alex's voice cut through the morning air as she slowly began reeling in her line. She kept her movements casual, unhurried, but every muscle in her body was prepared to react. Drake turned toward her, irritation flickering across his face at the interruption. "This is a private conversation, lady. Why don't you pack up your little fishing rod and..." "Commander," she corrected, finally turning to face him fully. "Commander Alexandra Blackwood. And I think it's time for you and your friends to leave." Drake's scarred face twisted into what he probably thought was an intimidating smile. "Commander, huh? Well, ain't that impressive. See, thing is, Commander, you're not in the Navy now. This is our town, our rules." Alex stood smoothly, her movements economical and precise. Something in her posture made Drake's associates shift uneasily, their hands drifting toward concealed weapons. They might not have consciously recognized the predator in their midst, but some primitive part of their brains was sending warning signals. "That's where you're wrong," Alex replied, her voice carrying the kind of quiet authority that had once directed classified operations across 3 continents. "This isn't your town, these aren't your rules, and you're making a very serious mistake." Drake's face flushed with anger. He took another step forward, hand reaching inside his leather cut. "Only mistake being made here is by a washed-up officer who doesn't know when to mind her own business. Last chance to walk away." Alex's smile was cold as the morning mist. "Funny, I was about to say the same thing to you." The tension stretched like a fishing line pulled too tight, ready to either snap or sing. In the distance, early morning boats were appearing through the fog, their crews unaware they were about to witness the moment a simple act of intimidation would trigger the collapse of a criminal empire that reached from Cedar Lake to the darkest corners of international arms trafficking. Drake Stevens and his reckless wheelers thought they were marking their territory, establishing dominance over a small marina. Instead, they were about to learn why smart predators look very carefully at their chosen prey. Because sometimes on a quiet morning at a peaceful fishing dock, the most dangerous person isn't the one making threats. It's the one who's been waiting for them to make a mistake. The tension on the dock crystallized into something deadly as Drake's hand disappeared inside his leather cut. Alex cataloged every detail with the precision that had kept her alive through 2 decades of covert operations. His weight was shifted slightly forward, telegraphing his intentions. His 2 associates were moving to flank her, amateur hour tactics that told her more about their training than they realized. "Last warning," Drake growled. "Walk away." Alex's response was a blur of motion that none of them saw coming. Her fishing rod clattered to the dock as she closed the distance to Drake, her left hand securing his wrist before he could draw, while her right delivered a precise strike to nerve clusters that made his fingers spasm open. The small automatic pistol he'd been reaching for clattered harmlessly to the wooden planks. "Federal firearms violation," Alex commented conversationally, maintaining her grip on Drake's wrist. "That's an interesting choice for a simple motorcycle club president." Drake's associates started forward, but froze as Alex applied slightly more pressure to their leader's wrist. "I wouldn't," she advised. "Your friend here has at least 3 shattered carpals, and I'm currently deciding whether to add the radius and ulna to that list." "You crazy bye!" Drake's insult cut off in a pained gasp as Alex shifted her grip slightly. "Language," she chided. "There are families that fish here." Her voice hardened. "Now, let's talk about why a motorcycle club needs professional tactical training and concealed weapons to shake down a small marina." Through the pain, Drake managed to sneer. "You have no idea what you're dealing with." "Actually," Alex replied, "I do. Former military, probably special operations based on how your friends moved into flanking positions. But you got sloppy. Real operators don't telegraph their draws or carry weapons where the outline is visible. She glanced at his associates. Speaking of which, drop them, slowly. The two men exchanged uncertain looks. Alex sighed. Your choice. But your boss here is about to need emergency orthopedic surgery, and I haven't even started on the structural weak points in the human elbow. They carefully removed their weapons, letting them fall to the dock. Joe, who had been watching with surprising calm, kicked them away from everyone's reach. Smart decision, Alex said. Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave this marina. You're going to forget about whatever operation you're running here. Because if you don't, our next conversation won't be nearly this pleasant. She released Drake's wrist with a precise twist that sent him stumbling back into his associates. He cradled his injured arm, fury and something else. Fear, warring in his eyes. You're dead, he spat. You hear me? Nobody touches the reckless wheelers. Nobody. Alex's smile was arctic. Then I guess I'm nobody. But here's something you should know. I've spent 20 years hunting people who are actually dangerous. You? You're just sloppy amateurs playing at being tough guys. Her voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried across the dock. Run along now, before I get curious about what you're really doing here. The three men backed away, their attempts at looking menacing undermined by how carefully Drake was holding his injured wrist. As they mounted their bikes, Alex noted how the morning fog had cleared enough to give her a clear view of their license plates. More importantly, it revealed the high-end communications gear poorly concealed on their machines, equipment that no ordinary motorcycle gang should have access to. Joe waited until the roar of motorcycles had faded before speaking. That was something else, Commander. Where'd you learn moves like that? Here and there, Alex replied, retrieving her fishing rod. More interested in their equipment. Notice anything unusual about their bikes? Joe's weathered face creased in thought. Now that you mention it, they've been asking odd questions lately. Shipping schedules, vessel manifests, stuff no regular bikers would care about. Alex nodded, her mind already running through possibilities. The tactical training, the professional weapons, the communications gear, the interest in maritime traffic. Pieces of a puzzle she hadn't known existed were starting to form a troubling picture. She pulled out her phone, hesitating for just a moment before dialing a number she'd hoped never to use again. It rang twice before a familiar voice answered. Agent Thompson? It's Blackwood. Remember that weapons trafficking network we tracked in the South China Sea? The one that disappeared? A pause. The one that cost us 3 good operators? Kind of hard to forget. I think I found where they went. Telling and preparing this story took us a lot of time. So if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Alex watched a cargo ship moving through the morning mist. How quickly can you get satellite coverage of Cedar Lake Marina? You're supposed to be retired, Alex. And they're supposed to be smarter than trying to intimidate a Naval Intelligence officer. Guess we're both having disappointments. Thompson sighed. Give me 12 hours. But Alex, be careful. Last time we tangled with these people. I remember, she cut him off. That's why we're going to do it right this time. She ended the call, turning to find Joe watching her with new understanding in his eyes. You're not just a regular Navy veteran, are you? Alex began packing up her gear. Joe, I need you to do something for me. Keep track of their movements, but don't engage. These people are into something bigger than local extortion. How big? She shouldered her tackle box. Big enough that they'll kill to keep it quiet. Big enough that they've got military training and professional gear. And big enough that they just made a serious mistake by showing their hand. The mistake being? Alex paused, looking back at the quiet marina that had almost given her the peace she'd been seeking. They made me curious. And in my experience, curiosity tends to be fatal. For them. She headed for her car, already planning her next moves. The reckless wheelers thought they'd intimidated another local into submission. Instead, they just attracted the attention of someone who specialized in dismantling organizations far more dangerous than their little gang. Sometimes, Alex reflected, The biggest mistakes lead to the most spectacular falls, and the reckless wheelers were about to fall very hard indeed. Back in her modest lakeside cabin, Alex spread satellite photos across her desk, a parting gift from her intelligence days. The images showed Cedar Lake Marina from various angles, but she was more interested in the surrounding infrastructure. Warehouses that seemed too large for a small lake community. Security patrols that appeared random but followed precise patterns. Radio frequencies that shouldn't exist in civilian bands. Her phone buzzed. Thompson. "Tell me you're sitting down." His voice crackled through the secure line. "Remember those communication signatures we tracked in Singapore?" Alex's hand tightened on the phone. "The ones from the weapons smuggling operation?" "Just picked up identical patterns around Cedar Lake. Alex, these aren't just some local thugs. The reckless wheelers are a front for something massive." "How massive?" "We've identified shell companies linking them to arms shipments in 12 countries. They're using small marinas as distribution points, hiding military-grade hardware and civilian fishing traffic." Alex studied the photos again. The marina questions make sense now. They're mapping smuggling routes. It gets worse. We've got evidence suggesting they've infiltrated local law enforcement, bought off city officials. Cedar Lake is just the newest node in their network. A knock at her door interrupted them. Through the security camera feed, Alex saw Deputy Lisa Martinez, one of the few local officers she'd come to trust. "Gotta go," Alex told Thompson. "Keep digging." Martinez didn't waste time with pleasantries when Alex opened the door. "We've got trouble. Sheriff just ordered us to stop patrolling the marina area. Says it's being handled by private security." "Let me guess, security provided by our friends on motorcycles?" "Already saw 2 reckless wheelers doing patrol runs. They're not even trying to hide it anymore." Alex invited her in, showing her the satellite photos. "Because they think they've already won. They're moving from infiltration to control." Martinez studied the images. "Those warehouses. They showed up 6 months ago, same time as the wheelers. Town council pushed the permits through overnight." "Perfect cover," Alex nodded. "Small town, isolated location, corrupt officials. They probably thought they'd found an ideal distribution point. Until they ran into you." Martinez smiled grimly. "Word spreading about what happened at the dock. Drake's in the hospital, claiming he fell downstairs." "Stairs can be dangerous," Alex remarked dryly, "especially when you're threatening people with illegal firearms." Her phone buzzed again, a text from Joe. "More bikes arriving, different patches, professional types asking about you." "They're bringing in muscle," Alex translated, "which means we struck a nerve." Martinez checked her sidearm. "What's the play? I've got a few deputies I trust, but we're outgunned and the sheriff's compromised." "We do what they don't expect." Alex moved to a locked cabinet, entering a complex code. "We go completely off book." The cabinet swung open, revealing specialized communications equipment, the kind that didn't officially exist. Alex activated a secure terminal, entering a series of commands. "Remember those operators I served with? The ones who disappeared into private contracting after Singapore?" A series of acknowledgement codes flashed across the screen. "They've been waiting for a chance to hit back at this network." "You're bringing in a private task force?" "I'm bringing in ghosts, people who know how to move in shadows, who can't be traced or bought." Alex smiled coldly. "The wheelers think they're professional? Let's show them what real professionals can do." Her phone lit up with responses. Former Special Forces operators, intelligence analysts, combat veterans, all of them eager to help dismantle the organization that had cost them friends in Singapore. "Won't they see them coming?" Martinez asked. "That's the beauty of it. They're looking for an official response, police raids, FBI investigations. They're not looking for shadows." Alex pulled up thermal imaging of the marina area. "While they're watching for uniforms and badges, our people will already be inside their operation." Martinez studied the building schematics. "We'll need local support, people who know the area, who can feed intelligence without raising suspicion." "Already handled. Joe's got half the marina working as spotters. Amazing what people will do when they're tired of being bullied." "And the corrupt officials?" Alex's smile was predatory. They're about to learn why it's dangerous to take bribes from arms dealers. Thompson's FBI team is building cases, gathering evidence. When we move, we take down everything. The smuggling operation, the corrupt cops, the bought officials. Clean sweep. Her phone buzzed again. Joe. Drake's out of hospital, heading to Marina with heavy crew, looks angry. Right on schedule, Alex murmured. They're going to try to reassert control, show strength. Shouldn't we stop them? No, let them think they're in charge. Let them get comfortable. Alex checked the deployment schedules coming in from her operators. In fact, let's give them exactly what they're expecting. Which is? A lone woman who's been intimidated into silence. I'm going fishing tomorrow, same spot. And when they come to threaten me again... They'll be walking into a trap, Martinez finished. Better. They'll be walking into an intelligence operation 20 years in the making. Singapore was just the beginning of their network. Cedar Lake will be the end. Alex's phone lit up with confirmed positions from her operators. They were already arriving, slipping into town under various covers. The pieces were moving into place. Tomorrow, she told Martinez, the reckless wheelers are going to learn why you should be very careful about which quiet fishing spots you decide to threaten. Outside, more motorcycles roared past her cabin, a show of force meant to intimidate. Alex smiled, remembering another time, another operation. They were doing exactly what she expected, following a playbook she'd spent years learning to counter. The wheelers thought they were predators. They were about to learn they were prey. Dawn broke over Cedar Lake as Alex pulled into her usual parking spot at the marina. She noted the 3 motorcycles parked in shadows, reckless wheelers trying hard to look casual while keeping watch. Their radio discipline was sloppy. Her modified scanner picked up fragments of their communications. Targets arrived. Same spot. Waiting for Snake's signal. Amateur hour, she thought, rigging her fishing line. Through her polarized sunglasses, she counted 7 more wheelers positioned around the marina. They'd even tried to set up a basic surveillance pattern. It would have been almost impressive if it wasn't so predictable. Her earpiece crackled softly. Ghost 1 in position. The voice belonged to Marcus Chen, one of her best operators from Singapore. Thermal showing 12 tangos total, 3 with long guns in the warehouse overlooking your position. Acknowledged, she sub-vocalized, the throat mic picking up her words. Martinez? 5 trusted deputies in civilian clothes scattered through the breakfast crowd at the diner. Thompson's FBI team is standing by 10 minutes out. Joe approached with his usual coffee thermos, playing his part perfectly. If the wheelers were watching, they'd see nothing but an old marina manager making his rounds. Company's antsy this morning, he said quietly, pouring her coffee. Saw them moving crates into Warehouse 3 before sunrise. Military cases, heavy security. Alex sipped her coffee. Good. They're consolidating assets. Makes it easier to track inventory. Ghost 2 reporting movement, her earpiece whispered. Snake and primary team approaching from the south lot. 6 vehicles, heavily armed. Right on schedule. They were responding exactly as she'd predicted, bringing overwhelming force to crush any resistance. Standard tactics for intimidating civilians, considerably less effective against a prepared intelligence operation. Drake, the Snake. Stevens led his crew onto the dock, his injured wrist in a brace. He'd brought serious muscle this time. Alex counted 15 men, all carrying themselves with military bearing. Former special operations, based on their movement patterns. Mercenaries hired to reinforce the local crew. Good morning, Commander, Drake called out, his voice carrying artificial cheerfulness. Beautiful day for fishing. Alex adjusted her line slightly. Water's a bit choppy. Makes it harder to spot what's below the surface. Funny you should mention that. Drake moved closer, his men spreading out in a containment pattern. Been thinking about our conversation yesterday. Seems we got off on the wrong foot. That can happen when you pull illegal weapons on federal officers. Drake's smile tightened. Ancient history. Today's about the future. See, You've got skills we could use. My organization's always looking for people with specialized experience. Is that what we're calling weapons trafficking now? An organization? The fake friendliness vanished from Drake's face. Careful, Commander. You're swimming in deep waters here. Waters filled with all kinds of dangerous things. Alex's earpiece came alive with tactical updates. Ghost team operators reporting multiple vehicles approaching. Thompson's FBI teams moving into standby positions. Everything proceeding according to plan. Here's the deal, Drake continued. You sign on as our maritime security consultant. 7 figures annually, full benefits, minimal oversight. All you have to do is look the other way sometimes. And if I refuse? Drake shrugged. Then we do this the hard way. Maybe there's an accident at the marina. Maybe your cabin catches fire. Maybe? Alex cut him off. You should look behind you. Drake turned. Through the morning mist, dozens of fishing boats were approaching the marina. Regular boats, routine morning traffic. Except Alex knew each one carried ghost team operators, their weapons concealed but ready. What's that supposed to mean? Drake demanded. Alex reeled in her lines slowly. It means you made 3 critical mistakes. First, you assumed that because I was alone, I was vulnerable. Second, you thought that surrounding me with muscle would make me afraid. And the third? She smiled. You actually believed I came here to fish. Her earpiece crackled. All units, execute Phase 1. The morning erupted into choreographed chaos. The fishing boats suddenly produced armed operators. Martinez's deputies emerged from the diner crowd, weapons drawn. And most surprisingly for the Wheelers, their own surveillance team in the warehouse was suddenly silent, neutralized by ghost team infiltrators. What the hell? Drake stepped back, reaching for his weapon. Federal agents. Thompson's voice boomed across the marina as FBI teams appeared from concealed positions. On the ground, now. Alex stood calmly, watching Drake's face as he realized the trap he'd walked into. Fun fact about Naval Intelligence, she said conversationally. We're really good at coordinating multi-team operations. Drake's mercenaries were professionals. They recognized a kill box when they saw one. One by one, they dropped their weapons, laying face down on the dock. Only Drake remained standing, fury and disbelief warring on his face. You have no idea what you've done, he snarled. The people I work for are next, Alex finished for him. Did you really think this was just about your little operation? You're not the target, Drake. You're the bait. His eyes widened as understanding dawned. Singapore, he whispered. You've been waiting for this. 2 years of tracking your network, following money trails, weapons shipments, communication patterns. All we needed was one weak link to crack it open. She gestured around the marina. Thanks for volunteering. FBI teams were already moving through the warehouse complex, guided by ghost team intel. They'd find enough weapons and evidence to take down not just the local operation, but the entire smuggling network. All because a few bikers thought they could intimidate a woman fishing alone. Commander? Thompson approached, looking grimly satisfied. We've got something in Warehouse 3 you need to see. Secure him first, Alex nodded toward Drake. And make sure his phone stays activated. When his bosses call to check in, I want them to hear exactly what happens when they target the wrong marina. As Thompson's team led Drake away, Joe appeared with a fresh cup of coffee. Quite a morning, he observed. Think they'll try setting up anywhere else? Alex watched the FBI teams coordinating with her ghost operators, systematically dismantling the Wheelers' operation. Not after today. We're not just shutting them down here. We're sending a message. What message is that? She smiled, sipping her coffee. That some fishing spots are better left alone. Warehouse 3 loomed before them, its weathered exterior masking high-tech security systems that had already been disabled by ghost team operators. Thompson led Alex through a side entrance, where FBI evidence teams were photographing and cataloging an arsenal that made her blood run cold. Military-grade hardware, Thompson said grimly. Latest generation weapons, some not even in official production yet. But that's not the interesting part. He led her to a secure room in the back. Inside, sophisticated computer systems hummed quietly, their screens displaying encrypted data streams. One of Thompson's tech specialists looked up from a terminal. "Commander, you need to see this. We've cracked their first-level encryption. These aren't just shipping manifests, it's their entire operational database." Alex scanned the data scrolling across the screens. Client lists, drop points, corrupt officials, they documented everything. "They thought their encryption was unbreakable," Thompson added. "Arrogance makes for sloppy tradecraft." Her eyes caught familiar coordinates. "These shipping routes, they match exactly with what we tracked in Singapore. Same patterns, same methods." "That's not all." The tech pulled up another screen. "Found this in their secure communications. Weekly video calls with someone they refer to only as the director. Last one was 3 days ago." Alex studied the encrypted video files. "Can you clean up the audio?" The tech typed commands, and a voice filled the room. Cultured, precise, chillingly familiar. "Expansion proceeding according to schedule. Cedar Lake facility is crucial to our eastern seaboard operations. Commander Mitchell's interference must be dealt with immediately." "Vance," Alex whispered. Robert Vance, the ghost they'd chased across 3 continents, the mastermind who'd always stayed one step ahead. "You know him?" Thompson asked. "He was CIA originally, went private sector, then off the grid completely. We thought he was running operations in Asia, never suspected he'd set up here." Martinez entered, her expression tense. "We've got movement. Multiple vehicles approaching from the north. Professional crews, heavy weapons." "Vance's cleanup team," Alex concluded. "He must have monitored Drake's arrest." "FBI backup's still 10 minutes out," Thompson warned. Alex was already moving. "Ghost Team, Protocol Sierra. They're expecting federal response. Let's give them something else." She turned to Martinez. "Get your deputies clear. This is about to get complicated." "What's the play?" Thompson asked. "They think they're here to clean up a compromised operation. Let's let them get nice and close, then show them why you don't bring cleanup crews to an intelligence operation." Her earpiece crackled with Ghost Team acknowledgments as operators moved into predetermined positions. Through the warehouse windows, she could see the first unmarked vehicles approaching. Black SUVs with reinforced frames and run-flat tires. Professional equipment for professional killers. 10 vehicles, Ghost One reported. Thermal showing 4-man teams in each. Heavy weapons, tactical gear. "Let them get inside the perimeter," Alex commanded. "Martinez, are the dock charges set?" "Ready on your signal." Alex watched the SUVs enter the marina complex. Vance's people were good. They moved with precision, covering angles, maintaining perfect spacing. Against normal law enforcement, they'd be devastating. "Execute!" Alex ordered. The first explosion hit the marina's fuel depot, a controlled blast that sent a fireball into the morning sky. As Vance's teams responded to the threat, Ghost operators opened up from concealed positions. The cleanup crew found themselves caught in interlocking fields of fire, their tactical advantage evaporating. "Multiple tangos down," Ghost 3 reported. "They're falling back to secondary positions." "Not today." Alex switched channels. "Thompson, breach the warehouse now. Hit them from behind." FBI teams burst from the warehouse complex as Ghost operators pressed their advantage. Caught between hammer and anvil, Vance's cleanup crew began surrendering. Their tactical training told them they'd lost their advantage. "Commander," Ghost One called urgently. "One vehicle breaking off, heading north. Driver matches Vance's description from Singapore files." Alex was already moving. "Thompson, secure the scene. Ghost Team with me. We end this today." She sprinted to her vehicle. Not the civilian car she usually drove, but a modified SUV Ghost Team had prepared. As she pulled away from the marina, 4 unmarked vehicles fell in behind her. The chase that had started in Singapore 2 years ago was about to reach its conclusion. Her phone rang, a secure line she'd hoped never to see again. "Hello, Commander." Vance's voice was exactly as she remembered. "I must admit, you've impressed me. Using the wheelers to draw us out? Brilliant tradecraft. It's over, Robert. Your network's compromised, your cleanup team's down. There's nowhere left to run. He chuckled. My dear Alexandra, who's running? Turn around. Go home. Pretend none of this ever happened. You've had your victory at the marina. You know I can't do that. Then I look forward to finishing what we started in Singapore. The port at Miller's Point. 1 hour. Just you and me, for old time's sake. The line went dead. Alex pressed the accelerator, her mind racing. Miller's Point was an abandoned industrial port, perfect for an ambush. Ghost team, new coordinates, but stay back. He's mine. Commander! Martinez's voice crackled through her radio. FBI found something else in the computers. Vance, he was there the night we lost those operators in Singapore. He gave the order. Alex's grip tightened on the steering wheel. Finally, after 2 years of hunting, of waiting, of preparing, she had him. The morning sun glinted off the lake as she drove, its peaceful surface masking currents that could pull you under without warning. Rather like this operation, she reflected. What had started as a simple act of intimidation at a quiet marina had exposed an international weapons network and brought a ghost from her past into the open. Time to finish what Singapore started. Miller's Point stretched into the lake like a skeletal finger, its abandoned cranes and rusted containers creating a maze of industrial decay. Alex parked at the entrance, noting how the morning fog clung to the ground, reducing visibility. Perfect conditions for an ambush. Ghost team, maintain perimeter surveillance. No intervention unless I give the signal. Acknowledged, Marcus replied. But Commander, thermal imaging shows multiple heat signatures in those containers. He's not alone. Of course he's not, Alex checked her weapon. He never is. That's why you're my insurance policy. She stepped out into the fog, her boots crunching on gravel and broken glass. The port was a death trap of blind corners and elevated positions, a sniper's paradise. But Vance wouldn't kill her from a distance, not after Singapore. This was personal. I was surprised to find you here, Vance's voice echoed through the maze of containers. A small marina in the middle of nowhere, rather a step down from Naval Intelligence, wouldn't you say? Alex moved carefully, tracking the voice's location. Says the man who went from CIA division chief to running guns for third world despots. An oversimplification. Vance's voice moved, circling. I provide necessary services to necessary clients. The world runs on weapons, Alexandra. I simply ensure they flow to the right people. Like the ones who killed our team in Singapore? A pause. Ah, so that's what this is about. Still carrying that guilt, are we? The only thing I'm carrying is a clear memory of who gave the order. Alex rounded a corner, scanning shadows. You sold us out. Your own people. Vance stepped into view atop a stack of containers, looking exactly as she remembered. Elegant suit, silver hair, cold eyes that had watched too many people die. My own people? He smiled without warmth. My dear, loyalty to agencies and governments is so limiting. I prefer to think globally. Pretty words for a traitor, says the woman who just dismantled a perfectly functioning distribution network. He spread his arms. Do you have any idea how long it took to set up these operations? The bribes, the shell companies, the infrastructure? About 2 years, Alex replied. Since Singapore. You use the reckless wheelers as your local muscle, setting up distribution points in small marinas where no one would look too closely. Very good. Vance began walking along the containers, casual as a man taking a morning stroll. But incomplete. The wheelers were just one arm of the operation. Right now, similar groups are establishing control points all along the coast. Small towns, isolated ports, perfect coverage for moving product. Not anymore. Alex kept him in sight, noting movement in her peripheral vision. His backup was getting into position. We've identified every node in your network. FBI teams are moving in as we speak. Vance's smile widened. Are they? And what will they find? Empty warehouses, deleted files. Come now, Alexandra. You think I didn't have contingencies? A single gunshot cracked across the port. Alex felt the round pass close enough to stir her hair as she dove for cover.
"That was a warning," Vance called out. "The next one won't be. You've caused enough disruption for one day."
Ghost one, Alex sub-vocalized. Status on backup shooters? 4 identified sniper positions. Permission to engage?
"Negative, not yet."
She heard Vance moving again, his voice carrying across the port. I'm disappointed, Alexandra. All this effort, this elaborate trap, and for what? Revenge for Singapore? Justice for fallen comrades? Such quaint concepts. How about treason? Alex called back. Selling military hardware to terrorist organizations? That's still frowned upon in most circles. Terrorist, freedom fighter, such loaded terms. I prefer to think of myself as a facilitator, helping the inevitable flow of power find its natural course. Another shot, closer this time, spraying concrete chips across her position. Last chance, Vance offered. Walk away. Retire properly this time. The quiet life you were pretending to enjoy at that marina, it could be real. Alex checked her magazine, smiling coldly. Counter offer. Surrender now, and I ensure you get a cell with a window. Vance's laugh echoed off metal containers. Always the idealist. That's why Singapore went wrong, you know. You couldn't see the bigger picture. Some people had to die so others could profit. That's just business. Ghost team, Alex whispered. On my mark, light up those sniper positions. But Vance is mine. She stood slowly, stepping into the open. You're right about one thing, Robert. Singapore went wrong because of idealism. I idealistic enough to think you were still one of us.
And now?
Now I know exactly what you are. She raised her voice. Martinez, execute harbor protocol. In the distance, emergency sirens began wailing. Vance's head snapped around at the sound. What did you do? Tipped off Coast Guard about suspected smuggling operations. They're locking down every port within 50 miles. No one in or out without full inspection. You're bluffing. Like I was bluffing about finding your warehouse, your computer systems, your entire network? Alex advanced steadily. Face it, Robert. Your empire's done. Those sirens, that's the sound of your business crumbling. Vance's composed facade cracked. Kill her, he screamed to his snipers. Ghost team, execute. The port erupted in precise, coordinated gunfire. One by one, Vance's snipers fell silent. The look of shock on his face was almost worth the 2 years of hunting him. Impossible. Singapore taught me a lot, Alex said, still advancing. Mostly about having better backup. Vance pulled a pistol, but Alex was already moving. 2 years of planning, of preparing, of remembering every detail from Singapore. It came down to this moment. Her first strike knocked the weapon aside. The second shattered his knee. As Vance crumpled, Alex caught him, preventing his fall. You know what your real mistake was? Not Singapore, not the weapons, not even trying to kill me just now. She leaned close, whispering in his ear. You tried to take over my marina. Ghost team operators emerged from the fog, securing the area as Thompson's FBI units arrived. Alex stepped back, watching as they took Vance into custody. Commander, Thompson approached. Coast Guard confirms. We've got their whole shipping network locked down. It's over. Alex nodded, watching Vance being led away. No, it's just beginning. It was right about one thing. There are more operations out there, more small towns being targeted. What are you thinking? She smiled, remembering a quiet morning at Cedar Lake Marina that seemed so long ago. I'm thinking it's time to go fishing again. After all, there are a lot of marinas out there that could use some protection. Behind her, the fog began to lift, revealing a new day dawning over Miller's Point. Somewhere out there, other criminal organizations were moving into small towns, thinking they'd found easy targets. They were about to learn the same lesson as the reckless wheelers. Sometimes the most dangerous person isn't the one making threats. It's the one quietly fishing, waiting for trouble to make a mistake. 3 days after Vance's capture, Alex sat in her usual spot at Cedar Lake Marina, watching federal agents continue their sweep of the warehouse complex. The morning coffee from Joe tasted better than usual, perhaps because of the distinct absence of motorcycle engines disturbing the peace. "Final inventory report," Thompson said, settling into the chair across from her. "Over 200 million in weapons. Documentation linking Vance to arms deals in 27 countries. And something else you'll find interesting." He slid a file across the table. Inside were surveillance photos of other marinas, other small towns. Each showed similar patterns: local gangs moving in, mysterious warehouses appearing, sudden changes in law enforcement behavior. Vance wasn't lying, Alex observed. He was building a network of distribution points. And now they're all exposed. FBI's coordinating with local authorities, rolling up operations all along the coast. But, Thompson hesitated. But some will slip through, and others will try to fill the vacuum. Exactly. These organizations, they see small towns as easy targets. Isolated communities, limited law enforcement resources, vulnerable to intimidation and corruption. Martinez approached their table, now wearing her new shield as acting sheriff. "Just got reports from 3 neighboring counties. They're seeing the same patterns we did. Motorcycle gangs moving in, asking questions about marina operations." Alex studied the photos. They're adapting already. Smaller groups, quieter infiltration. Learning from the wheelers' mistakes. "Which brings us to why we're here," Thompson said. "FBI's creating a new task force, unofficial, off the books. Specifically focused on protecting small coastal communities from criminal enterprises. Let me guess, you want me to consult? We want you to run it." Alex looked up sharply. "I'm retired, remember?" "Are you?" Martinez gestured around the marina. "Because from where I'm standing, you just ran one of the most successful counter-criminal operations I've ever seen. Without official backing, without bureaucratic oversight." "You've got something they don't have," Thompson added. "Experience in both worlds, Naval Intelligence training combined with understanding of small-town dynamics. Plus, your ghost team operators are the best I've ever worked with." Speaking of which, Martinez nodded toward the lake, where several fishing boats crewed by ghost team operators maintained their surveillance pattern. "They seem pretty committed to the cause." Alex's phone buzzed with a message from Marcus. 3 more towns identified, similar patterns. Ready when you are." "Think about it," Thompson pressed. "Independent operation. Full resources but no red tape. Free to move quickly, adapt to changing threats. Protect communities before they become targets." "Like a civilian intelligence agency?" Alex raised an eyebrow. "Like a guardian force," Martinez corrected. "One that understands small towns aren't defenseless. They just need someone to show them how to fight back." Joe appeared with fresh coffee. "Got some interesting news from my marina manager network. Similar stories popping up all along the coast. Gangs moving in, asking questions about shipping schedules." "Already?" Thompson asked. "Nature abhors a vacuum," Alex said. "Vance's organization collapses. Others rush to claim territory." She studied the photos again. "How many towns are we talking about?" "At least 12 confirmed targets," Thompson replied. "Probably more we haven't identified yet." "And official response?" "Limited. These organizations know how to stay under federal radar. By the time we can build cases, they're already entrenched." Alex's phone buzzed again. Multiple messages from ghost team operators reporting suspicious activities in coastal towns up and down the seaboard, each following the same pattern they'd seen with the wheelers. "They're learning," she mused. "Getting smarter about their approaches. No more obvious shows of force like Drake used." "Which makes them harder to spot," Martinez agreed. "Unless you know exactly what to look for." Like someone with 2 decades of intelligence experience? And a team of ghost operators already in place, Thompson added. Plus a network of local contacts like Joe here, who know their communities. Alex watched the sun rise over Cedar Lake, remembering that morning when 2 bikers thought they could intimidate their way into control. How that one confrontation had exposed an international weapons ring and brought down a criminal empire. You know what the real problem is? She said finally. These organizations, they all make the same fundamental mistake. They see small towns as soft targets. And? Thompson prompted. And maybe it's time someone taught them otherwise. She turned to Martinez. How many deputies can you train in counter-surveillance? Give me 2 weeks with a team of instructors. Thompson, what kind of operational authority are we talking about? Full autonomous action. Official oversight but no bureaucratic constraints. Your operation, your rules. Alex's phone lit up again. More reports, more towns showing early signs of criminal infiltration. Each one thinking they'd found an easy target. Each about to learn the same lesson as the reckless wheelers. Well then, she said, finishing her coffee. I suppose retirement was getting boring anyway. So that's a yes? Thompson asked. Alex smiled, remembering Drake's face when he realized who he'd actually threatened. That's a yes. After all, somebody needs to remind these organizations why you should be careful which quiet fishing spots you decide to target. And the operational parameters? Thompson pressed. Simple, Alex replied, watching federal agents load the last of Vance's weapons into evidence trucks. We find these organizations before they can establish control. We show small towns they're not helpless. And we teach some very harsh lessons about underestimating quiet communities. Just like that? Martinez asked. Just like that, Alex confirmed. After all, if a couple of bikers hadn't decided to cause trouble at a peaceful marina, none of us would be here. Seems only fair to return the favor to others who want to follow in their footsteps. She stood, already planning their first operation. Somewhere along the coast, other criminal organizations were moving into position, thinking they'd found easy prey. They were about to learn why that was a very, very bad assumption. 1 week after establishing the task force, Alex stood on the dock of River's End Marina, a quiet port town 3 hours north of Cedar Lake. To any observer, she looked like just another tourist enjoying the morning air. No one noticed the advanced communications gear hidden in her fishing vest, or the ghost team operators disguised as local workers throughout the marina. Target confirmed, Marcus's voice whispered in her earpiece. Black SUV entering the parking lot. Same crew we've been tracking. Alex adjusted her fishing line, watching the vehicle through polarized lenses. Right on schedule. The Night Riders, another motorcycle gang following Vance's playbook, moving in to establish a new distribution point. Martinez status. Local deputies are briefed and in position. Surveillance equipment installed in all key locations. We're ready. The SUV parked, and 3 men emerged, trying too hard to look casual in their expensive leather jackets. Alex recognized their leader from intelligence briefings, Michael Iron Mike Reeves, former Special Forces turned mercenary. He'd worked with Vance on several operations. Well, well, Thompson's voice crackled through her earpiece. Looks like we were right. They're already trying to rebuild the network. Different names, same methods, Alex replied softly. Watch how they case the marina. Standard military reconnaissance pattern. Sure enough, the men spread out, photographing sight lines, access points, security cameras. Everything the Wheelers had done at Cedar Lake. Your friend's approaching, Marcus warned. Tom Bailey, River's End Marina manager, walked toward Alex's position. They'd contacted him 3 days ago, after satellite surveillance showed the Night Riders starting their infiltration pattern. Coffee's hot, he said loudly enough for any watchers to hear. Then quieter. They've been asking questions, same ones you warned about. Shipping schedules, security protocols. Right out of the playbook, Alex nodded. They're getting ready to move. Thoughts? Town's scared. Mayor's acting strange. Canceled 2 council meetings last week. Police chief suddenly has a new boat he shouldn't be able to afford.
They're moving faster than the Wheelers did, Thompson observed through the comm, learning from past mistakes. Alex watched Iron Mike approach a group of local fishermen, his smile not reaching his eyes. Classic intimidation tactics. Start with the regulars, establish dominance over the community's core. Ghost 3 reporting, another operator cut in. Multiple vehicles approaching from the north. Look like reinforcements. They're not taking chances, Martinez added. After what happened at Cedar Lake, they're bringing serious muscle from the start. Alex reeled in her line slowly. Good. Means they're worried. Thompson, how's our timing? FBI teams are in position, just waiting for them to make a move we can document. Won't have to wait long, Alex replied, watching Iron Mike's team start their second sweep of the marina. They'll try to take control within 48 hours. Standard pattern, show of force, followed by offers of protection to local businesses. Her phone buzzed. A message from Joe back at Cedar Lake. 3 more gangs identified moving up the coast. Same tactics, different names. They really don't learn, do they? Martinez mused. They learn the wrong lessons, Alex corrected. They think Cedar Lake was an isolated incident, that they just need better security, more muscle, faster takeovers. And the right lesson? Thompson asked. Alex smiled, watching Iron Mike's team photograph the warehouse district. That some quiet fishing towns have very sharp teeth. Tom Bailey returned with fresh coffee. My sources say they're moving something big into the old cannery tonight, setting up their distribution center. Just like the Wheelers, Alex nodded. Timer starts now. Thompson, get your teams ready. Martinez, coordinate with local deputies. Ghost team. Let's show them why rushed operations are sloppy operations. She stood, gathering her fishing gear. Iron Mike's team watched her leave, probably dismissing her as just another tourist, just like Drake had at Cedar Lake. Commander, Marcus called quietly. Thermal imaging shows they've already got armed teams in the cannery. This could get complicated. Good, Alex replied, heading for her car. Complicated means they're committed. Makes it easier to take down their whole operation, not just the advance team. They've got at least 30 operators, Martinez warned. Professional hardware. And we've got something better, Alex answered, watching more night riders arrive in the marina's parking lot. We've got them exactly where we want them, doing exactly what we expected. She switched to the main command channel. All units, Operation Undertow is now active. Remember, we're not just stopping a criminal takeover. We're sending a message to every organization thinking about targeting small towns. What message is that? Tom asked. Alex smiled, remembering Drake's face when he realized his mistake at Cedar Lake. That some fishing spots belong to the sharks. They just swim very, very quietly until someone makes the mistake of thrashing in their waters. As she drove away, she watched in her rearview mirror as Iron Mike gathered his team for their first major push into River's End. They thought they were predators moving in for an easy kill. They were about to learn the same harsh lesson as the reckless Wheelers. Sometimes the most dangerous waters are the ones that look perfectly calm on the surface. And sometimes the most lethal predator is the one quietly fishing, just waiting for someone to make that fatal mistake of causing trouble in the wrong small town. The old cannery loomed against the darkening sky as Alex monitored thermal feeds from her mobile command center. Night riders had been moving equipment in for hours, their confidence growing with each successful delivery. Through multiple camera feeds, she watched Iron Mike directing his operators with military precision. Final count, Marcus reported. 43 tangos inside the cannery, another 12 patrolling the perimeter. They've got enough hardware in there to start a small war. Or supply several, Thompson added. Drone footage shows military-grade weapons, similar to Vance's stockpile. Alex studied the thermal signatures. They're setting up exactly like the Wheelers did. Command center in the upper office, distribution floor below, security teams in rotating patterns. Overconfident, Martinez observed from her position near the marina. They think having more muscle prevents another Cedar Lake scenario. That's because they still don't understand what really happened at Cedar Lake, Alex replied, watching Iron Mike inspect another weapons shipment.
They think it was about force. It was about intelligence. Her phone lit up with a message from Tom. Mayor just called emergency council meeting. Knight Rider's lawyer is present. They're moving to approve private security contracts. Right on schedule, Alex nodded. Thompson? FBI teams are in position. We've got every corrupt official under surveillance, just waiting on your signal. Alex switched to the main tactical channel. Ghost team, status check. Ghost 1 in position, east side. Ghost 2 ready, warehouse district. Ghost 3 covering Marina approach. Ghost 4 on standby with QRF. She watched Iron Mike gather his lieutenants for a briefing. Their thermal signatures clustered in the upper office, probably planning their next phase of takeover. Remember, Alex addressed her teams, we're not just stopping a criminal operation. We're setting an example. Every gang thinking about targeting small towns will hear about what happens next. Like Cedar Lake? Martinez asked. Better than Cedar Lake, because this time we're not reacting. We're hunting. Alex keyed her radio. All units, Operation Undertow is go. Execute Phase 1. The first hint that something was wrong came when the Knight Riders' communications went dark. Their encrypted channels, their cell phones, even their backup systems, all suddenly silent. What the hell? Iron Mike's voice carried across their only remaining frequency, the one Alex wanted them to use. Someone get comms back up. Having technical difficulties? Alex's voice transmitted clearly through their speakers. That's what happens when you rush into someone else's territory without proper reconnaissance. Inside the cannery, Iron Mike spun around, searching for the source of the transmission. Who is this? Just someone who's seen this pattern before? You really should have researched Cedar Lake more carefully. Recognition flickered across Iron Mike's face, visible through high-resolution cameras Ghost Team had planted days ago. Blackwood. They said you might show up. They. Let me guess. Vance's old contacts? The ones trying to rebuild his network? Lady, you have no idea what you're dealing with. We've got this whole town locked down. Police, mayor, council, all bought and paid for. Alex smiled coldly. Correction, you had them bought. Check your phones, if they're still working. See how your allies are doing. On cue, Thompson's voice cut in. FBI teams moving in. Corrupt officials are being arrested as we speak, including your lawyer, Mike. He rolled over quite easily. Panic erupted in the cannery as Knight Riders realized their support network was crumbling. Iron Mike barked orders, trying to maintain control. Lock it down! Full security protocols, nobody gets near this building. About that, Alex replied calmly. Ghost Team, Phase 2. The cannery's power grid failed, plunging the building into darkness. Night vision equipment snapped on, exactly as planned. The flashbangs that detonated seconds later were particularly effective against enhanced light-gathering equipment. You're making the same mistake the Wheelers made, Alex continued, watching thermal signatures scramble in confusion. You think having more guns, more muscle makes you invincible. Want to know what really happened at Cedar Lake? Iron Mike was shouting orders, trying to organize a defense. Kill the lights! Get security teams to... Too late. Alex cut him off. Ghost Team, execute. The operation that followed was a masterclass in precision targeting. Ghost Team operators, who had infiltrated the building days ago, emerged from hiding spots throughout the cannery. Knight Riders found their carefully planned defensive positions were already compromised. Commander, Marcus reported, primary targets secured. Secondary teams are surrendering. Through the thermal feed, Alex watched Iron Mike realize the truth. They hadn't just walked into a trap. They'd been inside one for days. This is what happened at Cedar Lake, Alex transmitted. It wasn't about force. It was about showing organizations like yours why small towns are the wrong targets. Martinez's voice joined the channel. Local deputies moving in. FBI teams have the perimeter. It's over. Clear the building, Alex ordered. Thompson, document everything. I want every other gang along the coast to see exactly what happens when they follow Vance's playbook. As federal agents swarmed the cannery, Alex thought about quiet mornings at Cedar Lake. about peaceful communities targeted by predators who thought they'd found easy prey. "Commander," Thompson approached her position, "you need to see this. Found documents in Iron Mike's office. Lists of other targeted towns, operational plans." "Good," Alex nodded. "Now we know where to go next." She watched the Night Riders being led away in handcuffs, their dreams of criminal empire collapsing as quickly as the Wheelers had. "Send copies to every law enforcement agency on the coast," she ordered. "Make sure everyone knows. Small towns aren't defenseless anymore. They've got teeth now." And somewhere out there, other organizations were about to learn the same lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous waters are the ones that look perfectly calm, until you make the mistake of diving in. 2 weeks after Operation Undertow, Alex sat in her original spot at Cedar Lake Marina, analyzing intelligence reports from across the coast. The ripple effects of River's End had exceeded even her expectations. 3 more gangs pulled out of target towns yesterday, Thompson said, spreading photos across the table. No confrontation, no takeover attempts. They just disappeared. "They're learning," Martinez added, studying surveillance images. "But not all of them. Got reports of new activity in Seavale Harbor, calling themselves the Iron Legion." Alex reviewed the data streams flowing across her tablet. After River's End, they'd established a comprehensive monitoring network. Every small port town, every quiet marina now had eyes watching for familiar patterns. "Show me Seavale's readings," she requested. Martinez pulled up the feeds. Same initial approach. Motorcycle gang moving in, asking about shipping schedules. But there's something different this time. "They're being cautious," Thompson observed. "No obvious shows of force, no immediate pressure on local officials. They're trying to stay under our radar." Alex's phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. "Ghost Team confirms Iron Legion leadership includes former Vance operators. They're evolving tactics." "Of course they are," Alex mused. "River's End taught them they can't just muscle in anymore. So they're trying subtlety." "Will that work?" Martinez asked. "No," Alex smiled coldly, "because they still don't understand what really happened here at Cedar Lake or at River's End. They think it's about tactics, about methods. It's about something much more fundamental." Tom from River's End had sent an update. "Marina's quiet now. Communities organizing neighborhood watches. Nobody sleeps through motorcycle sounds anymore." "That's what they don't get," Alex continued. "Every town they target becomes part of our network. Every failed takeover makes the next community stronger." Thompson's phone chimed with urgent alerts. "Speaking of which, got movement in Seavale. Iron Legion's making their first serious push, trying to buy controlling interest in the marina through shell companies." "Sophisticated," Martinez noted. "No threats, no violence, just quiet financial takeover." "New tactics, same goal," Alex replied. "They still see small towns as easy targets, just trying to be smarter about how they take control." Her secure line lit up. A call from a number she recognized. "Ghost 1, report." "Iron Legion's bringing in heavy assets through back channels," Marcus reported. "Military-grade hardware hidden in fishing equipment. Professional operators disguised as seasonal workers. They've learned from Cedar Lake and River's End. No obvious criminal presence." Alex studied Seavale's marina layout on her tablet. "They think they've evolved beyond the Wheelers' mistakes. Time to show them why that's dangerously wrong." "Thompson, status on local law enforcement?" "Sheriff's clean, actively working with us. Already has surveillance on suspected Legion fronts." "Martinez?" "My deputies can be there in 2 hours. Already briefed on the new protocols." Alex stood, watching the morning sun reflect off Cedar Lake. "They've adopted new tactics. Time we showed them some of ours." She keyed her command channel. "All units, Operation Stillwater is now active." "Parameters?" Thompson asked. "Let them think their subtle approach is working. Let them establish their shell companies. Infiltrate their operators. Then we show them why financial takeovers are even more vulnerable than brute force." "How so?" Alex's smile was predatory. "Because they have to create paper trails. Ghost Team, commence Phase 1. I want every shell company, every financial transaction,
Every digital footprint mapped. Show me their entire network.
Time frame? Martinez asked. They'll try to move slower than the Wheelers or Night Riders. Probably think patience is their protection. Alex checked her weapon. They're wrong. Patience is our advantage. Her phone lit up with confirmations as Ghost Team operators, already embedded in Seavale, began their operation. The Iron Legion thought they were being clever, using legitimate businesses as cover. Remember, she addressed her teams, we're not just stopping another criminal operation. We're teaching a masterclass in why small towns are the wrong targets. Same lesson as Cedar Lake? Thompson asked. Better, Alex replied, watching new data flow in from their surveillance network. Because this time, we're going to turn their own sophistication against them. Every shell company becomes evidence. Every front business becomes proof of criminal enterprise. Martinez smiled. They think paperwork protects them. Exactly. The Wheelers tried force. The Night Riders tried overwhelming strength. The Iron Legion thinks corporate structures will keep them safe. Alex checked her tactical display. Time to show them why that's their biggest mistake yet. She looked out over Cedar Lake, remembering that morning when two bikers thought they could intimidate their way into control. How that one confrontation had evolved into something much larger. Ghost Team, move to Phase 2. Let's show the Iron Legion why sophisticated criminals are just as vulnerable as crude ones, especially when they target the wrong quiet towns. Because somewhere along the coast, other organizations were watching, learning, adapting. They thought they could find new ways to prey on small communities. They were about to learn why that was still a fatal mistake. Seavale Harbor's upscale marina office gleamed in the morning sun as Alex reviewed financial documents on her tablet. Through the window, she watched Iron Legion's legitimate businessmen conducting their meetings, completely unaware they were already compromised. Latest intercepts, Marcus reported through her earpiece. They're moving final assets into position through 7 different shell companies. Wire transfers confirm. Over $50 million in weapons scheduled for distribution. All hidden behind corporate paperwork, Thompson added. Got to admire their adaptation. No visible gang presence, no obvious threats. Everything looking perfectly legal. Alex watched James the Suit Morrison, Iron Legion's financial mastermind, shake hands with the Marina's board members. His tailored suit and corporate demeanor were a far cry from the reckless Wheelers' leather cuts. They think they've evolved beyond crude intimidation, Alex observed. Using lawyers instead of muscles, contracts instead of threats. It's working, Martinez noted from her surveillance position. Local business owners aren't even worried. Everything looks like normal corporate acquisition. Alex's phone lit up with Ghost Team confirmations. Their operators, positioned throughout Seavale's financial district, had mapped every connection, every transaction, every paper trail. That's their mistake, Alex smiled. Thompson, status on the financial web? Complete network mapped. SEC violations, money laundering, fraudulent contracts. Enough evidence to take down their entire operation and everyone connected to it. Ghost 3 reporting, another operator cut in. Final piece confirmed. Iron Legion's using the same banking channels Vance established. International connections, terrorist funding, it's all documented. Alex watched Morrison lead another board meeting, his confidence evident in every gesture. They thought corporate structure would protect them. Instead, they've given us everything we need. Execute Phase 3. The operation that followed was unlike anything they'd done at Cedar Lake or River's End. No dramatic raids, no tactical teams. Instead, federal agents simply walked into offices, serving warrants and freezing assets. Sir? Morrison's assistant interrupted his meeting. There's a problem with the accounts. Morrison's face remained composed, but Alex saw the moment of recognition in his eyes when every computer in the building displayed account frozen notifications. All units report, Alex commanded. Status? FBI teams securing corporate offices. SEC teams seizing records. International accounts frozen. Shell companies exposed. Morrison tried maintaining his corporate calm as federal agents entered the boardroom, but his facade cracked when he saw Alex walk in behind them. "You," he whispered. "Cedar Lake. They warned us about you." "Interesting," Alex replied. "All that intelligence about me, but you still made the same fundamental mistake." "We did everything differently," Morrison protested as agents secured him. "No violence, no obvious criminal enterprise, everything by the book." "That's where you're wrong." Alex approached his chair. "You thought the mistake was in the method. It wasn't. The mistake was targeting small towns in the first place." She gestured to the warrant team seizing computers and files. "You created paper trails, digital footprints, evidence that leads right back to every criminal organization you've ever worked with." "You can't prove anything." Alex smiled. "Actually, we already have. Ghost Team's been inside your systems for weeks. Every transaction, every connection, every illegal deal, all documented. Your sophisticated approach just gave us everything we needed to take down, not just the Iron Legion, but your entire international network." Morrison's professional mask finally shattered as understanding dawned. "The corporate takeover was exactly what we wanted you to try," Alex finished. "Because while you were focused on looking legitimate, you never noticed our operators infiltrating your organization at every level." Her phone buzzed with updates from across the coast. Other criminal organizations watching the Iron Legion's corporate empire collapse, learning yet another harsh lesson about underestimating small towns. "Commander," Thompson approached. "Final numbers coming in. Over 200 arrests, $3 billion in seized assets, and connections to 12 other criminal organizations exposed." Alex nodded, watching Morrison being led away in handcuffs. "Make sure everyone along the coast gets the message. Corporate takeovers, brutal force, subtle infiltration, none of it works. Because small towns aren't targets anymore. They're hunting grounds," Martinez added with a smile. "Exactly," Alex agreed, remembering that first morning at Cedar Lake. "And the hunters? We swim very, very quietly until someone makes the mistake of thinking they've found easy prey. Because somewhere out there, other organizations were watching, learning, adapting. But they still hadn't learned the most important lesson of all. Sometimes the most dangerous predator isn't the one with the biggest muscles, the most sophisticated operation, or the best corporate cover. It's the quiet one, patiently waiting for criminals to make that one fatal mistake of targeting the wrong small town." 1 month after Operation Stillwater, Cedar Lake Marina hummed with a different kind of energy. What had started as one quiet fishing spot defending itself had evolved into the command center for a growing network of protected communities. Alex watched as Marina workers, many of them Ghost Team operators in deep cover, installed new surveillance systems disguised as routine equipment upgrades. "Final numbers from Seavale are in," Thompson said, joining her at her usual spot. "Iron Legion's collapse exposed operations in 23 countries. Interpol's still making arrests. More importantly," Martinez added, "we're seeing a pattern shift along the coast. Criminal organizations aren't just avoiding small towns now. They're actively warning others away." Alex's tablet displayed real-time feeds from dozens of coastal communities, each now part of their expanding protection network. "They're learning, but not fast enough. Ghost 1, status report." "3 new groups identified," Marcus responded. "They're trying something different, targeting multiple small towns simultaneously, thinking we can't protect them all." "Classic dispersal strategy," Alex noted, "trying to stretch our resources thin." Her phone lit up with messages from their growing network of marina managers, each trained to spot warning signs. Tom from River's End. New faces asking about dock fees, but they're more cautious now. Sarah from Seavale. Corporate types reviewing property records, very interested in warehouse districts. Mike from Port Haven. Suspicious real estate surveys along the coast. "They're probing," Thompson observed, "testing defenses, looking for weak points." "Let them," Alex smiled. "Every probe tells us more about their operations. Ghost Team, initiate Protocol Echo." Across the coast, Hidden operators began tracking the newcomers, mapping their connections, documenting their methods. This wasn't just about stopping criminal takeovers anymore. It was about understanding and predicting them.
"Commander," Martinez called urgently. "Got something interesting? Remember that data we seized from the Iron Legion?" "What about it?"
Found references to something called Project Lighthouse. Multiple organizations involved, all focused on coastal acquisition. Alex studied the new information flowing across her screen. They're coordinating. Different groups, different methods, but working toward the same goal.
"Taking control of the entire coastline," Thompson finished. "Using small towns as distribution points for a massive trafficking operation."
Ambitious, Alex mused, and exactly the kind of overreach we can use against them. Ghost Team, expand surveillance. I want every connection, every meeting, every transaction documented. Her phone buzzed with a priority alert from Marcus. Confirmed movement in 3 target zones. They're starting their push. Right on schedule, Alex nodded. They think hitting multiple targets prevents us from responding effectively. Time to show them why that's another fatal mistake. She switched to the command channel. All units, Operation Riptide is now active. Remember, we're not just protecting individual towns anymore. We're teaching them why coordinated takeover attempts are even more dangerous than single operations. Parameters? Thompson asked. Let them commit resources to multiple targets. Let them think their dispersal strategy is working. Then we show them why giving us multiple attack vectors is the last mistake they'll make. Martinez smiled. They're creating their own evidence network. Exactly, Alex confirmed. Every simultaneous operation creates connections we can trace. Every coordinated move leaves patterns we can track. Her tablet displayed new data as Ghost Team operators identified key players, mapped organizational structures, tracked resource movements. The criminal networks thought they were being clever, spreading their operations thin. Remember Cedar Lake? Alex addressed her teams. Remember how one small operation led us to Vance's entire network? Now they're giving us dozens of entry points, dozens of trails to follow. They think they're being smart, Thompson noted. They think quantity protects them, Alex corrected. Time to show them why trying to take multiple small towns at once isn't just ambitious, it's suicidal. Because somewhere along the coast, criminal organizations were gathering, planning, coordinating. They thought they'd found a way to overwhelm the defenses that had stopped the Wheelers, the Night Riders, and the Iron Legion. They were about to learn why that kind of ambition was their biggest mistake yet. 3 synchronized attacks, 3 small coastal towns. The criminal organizations behind Project Lighthouse thought they'd finally found a strategy to overwhelm Alex's network. As she monitored real-time feeds from her command center at Cedar Lake, she watched their carefully coordinated operation unfold. Strike teams moving into position at all 3 targets, Marcus reported. Port Haven, Rivers Bend, and Millbrook Harbor, each using different methods. Corporate takeover in Port Haven, traditional muscle in Rivers Bend, political pressure in Millbrook. Clever, Thompson observed. 3 different approaches, making it harder to counter all of them simultaneously. Alex watched the tactical displays, tracking enemy movements across all 3 locations. They still don't understand. Ghost Team, status? All units embedded and ready. We've had operators in place since they started planning this. On her screens, Alex could see their opposition's confidence. In Port Haven, suited executives were preparing to execute hostile takeovers of key businesses. Rivers Bend faced an incoming convoy of heavily armed mercenaries. Millbrook's corrupt officials were about to call emergency meetings to transfer power to criminal fronts. They think they're being unpredictable, Alex noted. Martinez? Local law enforcement is prepared at all locations. Everyone knows their role. Alex's phone lit up with messages from their marina network, each manager reporting enemy movements exactly as predicted. She smiled, remembering that first confrontation at Cedar Lake. Execute Phase 1. The operation that followed demonstrated why coordinated attacks against prepared positions were suicide. In Port Haven, The corporate takeover team found their carefully prepared legal documents exposed as frauds. Rivers Bend's incoming mercenaries drove straight into prepared ambush positions. Millbrook's corrupt officials discovered their secret accounts already frozen. "Status report," Alex commanded. "Port Haven team neutralized. FBI Financial Crimes Unit moving in." "Rivers Bend mercenaries contained. Ghost team has them boxed in." "Millbrook political structure secured. Evidence of corruption transmitted to federal authorities." "They're trying to adapt," Thompson warned. "Shifting resources, attempting to reinforce failing positions." "Let them," Alex replied. "Every adjustment, every reaction, just confirms more connections we can trace." Ghost team, execute phase 2. Across all 3 towns, hidden operators emerged from deep cover. Enemy communications suddenly failed. Escape routes disappeared. Support networks collapsed. "Commander," Marcus called urgently. "Found something in their command communications. Project Lighthouse. It goes higher than we thought. International backing. Government connections." "Good," Alex smiled coldly. "They finally gave us what we've been waiting for. Proof of the entire network. Thompson? Federal teams moving in at all locations. International law enforcement standing by." Alex watched the synchronized operation collapse as their opponents realized the truth. They hadn't just failed to overwhelm her network. They'd walked into an elaborate trap designed to expose their entire organization. "You know what their real mistake was?" she asked Martinez. "They thought quantity meant security, that hitting multiple targets would divide our attention. Instead, they gave us multiple entry points into their operation. Every attack team, every corrupt official, every fake corporation, all of them leading back to the same central network." Her phone buzzed with updates from across the coast. Criminal organizations watching in shock as Project Lighthouse imploded. 3 simultaneous operations, all failing spectacularly, all exposing connections that led to even bigger targets. "Commander," Thompson approached with fresh intelligence. "Final numbers coming in. Over 500 arrests across 12 countries. International trafficking networks exposed. Government corruption uncovered at highest levels." Alex nodded, watching federal teams moving in at all 3 locations. "Make sure everyone gets the message. It doesn't matter if you try 1 town or 20. Small coastal communities aren't targets anymore." "They're traps," Martinez added. "Exactly," Alex agreed. "And the best traps? They're the ones that look exactly like what you're hunting for." "Because somewhere along the coast, other criminal organizations were watching, learning, realizing that their most sophisticated strategies had just failed catastrophically. They thought attacking multiple towns would protect them. Instead, they just helped create the largest organized crime takedown in history. All because, months ago, 2 bikers at Cedar Lake Marina made the mistake of threatening the wrong woman on a quiet fishing dock. 1 year after the reckless wheelers made their fatal mistake at Cedar Lake Marina, Alex sat at her usual spot, drinking coffee from Joe's thermos and watching the sunrise. The morning was peaceful, but it was a different kind of peace now. Not the quiet of vulnerability, but the calm confidence of strength. "Final yearly report," Thompson said, settling into the chair across from her. "Numbers are impressive. Criminal activity in coastal communities down 97%. Over 2,000 arrests. 15 international networks dismantled. All because 2 bikers picked the wrong fishing spot to cause trouble." "It's more than that," Martinez added, joining them. "Every town we protected became a guardian for others. The network's self-sustaining now. Communities teaching communities, sharing intelligence, standing together." Alex's tablet displayed the current state of their operation. Hundreds of green dots representing protected towns, each one a former target turned defender. Her phone continuously lit up with updates from their marina network. "Suspicious activity reported near Port Charleston. Local community already responding." Attempted corporate takeover in Bay Harbor stopped before it started. 3 more towns requesting training in counter-surveillance techniques. "Ghost 1 reporting." Marcus's voice came through her earpiece. "Just intercepted interesting chatter. Criminal organizations have a new protocol. If you see a quiet marina, stay away. If you see a lone woman fishing, run. Alex smiled, remembering that first morning when Drake thought intimidation would give him control. They learned expensive lessons. The hard way, Thompson agreed. But here's what's really interesting. We're seeing a fundamental shift in how these organizations operate. They're not just avoiding small towns, they're actively warning others about the consequences. Commander, Martinez called, checking her phone. Got something you should see. Remember that first security camera footage from Cedar Lake, when the Wheelers made their move? What about it? It's become required viewing in criminal circles. They're using it as a training video. How to identify no-go zones. Your quiet morning fishing has become their nightmare scenario. Alex watched boats heading out for their morning catch, thinking about how much had changed. The Wheelers thought they were establishing dominance. Instead, they'd helped create a network that made small towns untouchable. You know what they never understood? She mused. It wasn't about the tactics, not the ghost team, not the FBI backup, not the surveillance network. Those were just tools. What was it about? Thompson asked. Community. Showing people they weren't helpless. That when small towns stand together, when they learn to watch and protect each other, they become something no criminal organization can handle. Her phone buzzed with a final set of reports. More towns joining the network, more communities learning to defend themselves, more proof that what started as one quiet morning at Cedar Lake had become a revolution in coastal security. Ghost team standing by, Marcus reported. Though these days, we're doing more training than fighting. Communities are handling most threats themselves now. That's the real victory, Alex nodded. Not just stopping takeovers, but teaching others to prevent them. Every quiet marina, every peaceful fishing spot is now a potential trap for anyone stupid enough to cause trouble. Because somewhere along the coast, criminal organizations were telling stories about small towns that bite back, about quiet fishing spots that swallow entire criminal empires, about peaceful communities that turned predators into prey. And at the center of those stories, like a warning to anyone thinking about targeting vulnerable towns, was the morning when two bikers walked into Cedar Lake Marina looking for trouble. Instead, they found Commander Alexandra Blackwood, and in doing so, they changed the balance of power along the entire coast. Alex watched the morning sun climb higher, remembering Drake's face when he realized his mistake. These days, she didn't have to deal with many threats. The stories did that for her. The legends of what happened to the reckless Wheelers, the Night Riders, the Iron Legion, they kept the peace better than any weapon could. You know what the best part is? She said finally, sipping her coffee. Somewhere right now, someone's thinking about causing trouble in a small town. And then they remember these stories. They look at that quiet woman fishing alone and they wonder. Wonder what? Martinez asked. Alex smiled. They wonder if they're about to make the same mistake the Wheelers made. If they're about to learn why smart predators stay far away from peaceful marinas and quiet fishing spots. Because sometimes the most dangerous waters are the ones that look perfectly calm, and sometimes the most lethal predator is the one quietly drinking coffee, watching the sunrise, remembering how it all began with one simple mistake: threatening the wrong woman at Cedar Lake Marina. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out.